Welcome to the Maria Liberati Show, where food meets art, travel, and life. So what does food mean to you? Today's special guest is Inan Bhatt, who is not only a recording artist, but he's the first Indian American to walk the Latin Grammys red carpet, and he is also the host of the Amazon show Rockstar Recipes, and he has some great rock star stories, behind the scenes stories to tell us, and really fascinating guests. So stay with me, and I'm going to share a recipe for a healthy mango, non-alcoholic mango cocktail. Stay with me. You know, summertime is a great time to sip on a non-alcoholic cocktail. You can have them any time of the day. And one of my favorites is a recipe from my book, The Basic Art of Cocktails. It's a healthy mango non-alcoholic cocktail. It's just called Mango Passion. And I'm going to share with you a short little excerpt from the book, The Basic Art of Cocktails. If you have not gotten that book yet, you can find that at artoflivingprimamedia.com, marialiberati.com. You can find it on amazon.com. You can find it in Kindle and really anywhere books are sold online. Again, it's The Basic Art of Cocktails. Here's an excerpt that goes with the recipe. My organic rosemary is still growing heartily in the giardino, and the country house was decorated today with bouquets of fresh rosemary and lavender from the bushes that surround the house. It's an elegant but simple way to decorate and fragrance the house. Tonight's cocktails will be non-alcoholic. This is a flavorful one, so you won't even notice that it's non-alcoholic. And this one is called Mango Passion. Here's the recipe. 3 tea bags of black tea, 1 whole fresh mango, 2 fresh bananas, 16 ounces of unsweetened pineapple juice, crushed ice. Bring 2 cups of water to almost boiling. Right before it starts to boil, remove from the burner, place in the tea bags, or if you're using loose tea, the tea in the filters. Cover this and let it cool. Then you're going to squeeze out the tea bags or remove the filter. Place the tea in the refrigerator. Peel the mango, cut it into 4 small pieces and set aside. Place the remaining pulp of the mango, banana, pineapple juice, tea in a food processor, and you're going to blend that. Divide that into 4 tall glasses. Place in the crushed ice and garnish with mango slices. And they're the slices that you cut. You know, you cut those 4 small pieces first. You cut that from the whole mango. I want to make sure to clarify that. So you're going to cut the 4 small pieces from the whole mango first, set those aside. Then you place the remaining mango in the food processor. So you'll have those 4 small pieces to put in the glasses to garnish with. For more refreshing cocktail recipes, get your copy of The Basic Art of Cocktails. So today, we're really excited to have as a special guest Inan Bhatt, and he's got so much to his credit, such a talented person. He's not only a recording artist, but he is also the host and author of Rockstar Recipes, and it's an Amazon show. So he's the host of that show, and I'm sure he has some really interesting stories to tell us about some of our favorite rock stars. But and he's going to talk a little bit about healthy eating on the road also. So Anand, thank you so much for being here today.
Oh, thank you. I'm pretty excited to be on your show, Maria.
Yes,
yeah, I mean, it's a great concept you've got going on here, right? So I can see why your audience loves you, because not a lot of people can talk food audio wise and make it interesting when you're not sitting there cooking in front of a camera, right? Like it's
exactly.
quite the feat.
Exactly. Yes, I love food talk. So
That's what we do. And we try to combine it with culture, as I was mentioning. And, I love that you're a recording artist also, and you're also involved with recipes as well. So I guess I'll start off by saying, so how did you get into being going from recording artist to being an author of a recipe book, and getting that idea, I guess, to get the rock stars to share recipes with you?
Yeah, it's and they don't have the best recipes. We are not the greatest cooks. I had to learn a lot.
Wow.
But I mean, honestly, rock star life is not the healthiest life at all.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was on the road a lot. And all my bandmates would be perfectly fine eating at fast food and just ducking through, but they didn't mind at all. And not only am I very picky taste wise, I was hitting the age where I started getting very picky health wise. And I noticed all my idols from the 80s and some from the early 90s, they survived a little bit. When I finally got to meet them or work with them or hang out with them, they weren't the heartthrobs they were in the 80s. They were completely out of shape. The rock star life definitely caught up to them right after 20 some years of doing it. And then what was also different between, I guess, the 90s versus modern life is you're on all the time. So it's not like you get to go to bed at 10 or 3 in the morning and wake up at noon. It's, you could go to bed at 3 in the morning and wake up at 6 and have to do an interview for an Asian audience or something like that, right? And it's just, you'll just destroy yourself if you're living off horrible food. And aesthetically, for one, and then just like, it's just no way to live. So I had to start developing recipes to, make little nutritious protein balls in a hotel room and take them with me on the road, because while everyone else is going through the drive-through, I couldn't stand it. I would keep little bottles of hot sauce with me, right? It's just it tasted awful, and it was awful for you, and it made you feel awful. It was the worst. So eventually I started assembling these recipes. A lot of them I got from my mother, my grandmother, my aunt. And then, every now and then somebody would share another recipe here and there, and I would just amass these recipes that I could make easily in a hotel room. Right. So a lot of it was, so a lot of times they put you in a hotel room that actually has somewhat of a kitchen, but a lot of times you're traveling with, a portable oven. Now it's air fryer. Now the air fryer comes with you, right? Wherever. But, you just really needed to be able to quickly make healthy food and plan that healthy food. So you're not stuck. I was just in a big family vacation and we were in the middle of nowhere, and I don't want to eat any of those restaurants. And I was annoying my family. I'm like, I need to get X amount of grams of protein and 1,200 calories by 4 today. And I don't want to do it eating a cheeseburger. Sorry. Right. Like, so they would get so annoyed. I'd be like, I'm going to bring some food with me. I'm sorry. Right. Like it's pretty comical. So eventually all those recipes formed into the book, Rockstar Recipes. And it's spelled a little different than normal. It's rock space star space recipes, right? Rockstar is not one word the way I do it.
Oh, okay.
And that book did pretty well, because alongside there's also stories while on the road, and there's some fun stories of me and the lead singer Motley Crue, and some travel stories, and just really fun.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but I was just to ask you, do you have any interesting stories you can share with us? Or is there, I know you said rock stars don't have really good recipes, and I could imagine they probably wouldn't, because they're on the road touring, and I don't know, unless there's someone like you that is really fastidious about what they're eating, which a lot of them aren't.
Right.
It wouldn't be into it. But do you have any interesting stories or interesting?
And hedonism is a big deal, I think, with musicians, right? So, Vince Neil is a great story. I love that guy. I admire him a lot. I was so excited when I met him. We were both in Vegas working on something, and it's poor guy. Like, he was not the Vince Neil I remembered. Like, and he also had some struggles. So I feel bad criticizing what I've seen him, but for me, seeing one of your idols, he was out of shape. But I think he had some great pasta recipes. Right? He eats well. He eats well, right? And he lives a fun life, right? He's right. So no criticisms there.
Yes.
But, little things like he was introducing me to his fiance and temporarily forgot her name, like little things like that. Like, oh God, I do not want this to happen to me one day, right? Like, so just kind of little things like that, right? But yeah, I mean, there's crazy stories like that. Other ones, I won't name names, were perfectly in order to get through.
Yes.
There's a lot of stimulants and drugs going on that used to be fun for them, I think, 20 years ago, and now became a necessity in order to meet the demands of what they had to do. And they clearly were not enjoying the lifestyle anymore. Wow. Right. And there's just stuff like that where it gets a little disturbing. Right. Yes. And, we were opening for one big band. And on the road with them, and again, I'll be careful not to name certain names, but suddenly that sound guy disappeared, and we found him in the floor of the bathroom. He was doing heroin, and he did too much. There's 2 hours to go. Like, we have things to do, right? And me trying to live clean living. I'm like, I have things to do. My mind doesn't turn off. Like, they have the benefit of being able to, right? I'm just like, we have stuff to do, right? I'm sure I'm a total annoyance to those that want to party and eat well all day, right? But But and there's some stories like that, and then there's positive ones like I'm in Japan, and I'm touring on myself solo, and a woman I was hanging out with in Japan was she was from there, and she's like, I'm going to show you around to a lot of this great, and the positive story of that was it was amazing. Like, it was fresh fish and sashimi from everywhere. I never felt more healthy. Like, she took me to this Japanese tea ceremony thing where it was like powdered matcha in where we scrubbed it with a little brush, and it looked like green paint. And I swear it gave you superpowers. It was amazing. Between eating clean for a matter of weeks, needing nothing but clean, fresh fish and veggies. Their veggies taste better than ours in the United States. I don't know what it is, but it's just our fruits and veggies have no taste. You don't realize it until you actually leave the country and come back. You're like, wow, it was just like an apple is crunchy water, right? Like,
exactly.
And I just remember being on top of the world, right? And just eating that well for 3 weeks, right? So there's really fun stories about that, and and it gets into some 18 and over stories on how feeling that well gets into part of the rock star life. I did not give up was that part, but but you're just like, wow, I feel half my age. Right. Yes. And I'm able to perform half my age, and it's great. And
I think people don't realize, I was just going to say, I didn't mean to interrupt you again, but I was going to say, I know there's a lot of drugs and stuff like that going on and some of the stuff you were saying, but they don't realize that a lot of times if they, can really get that kind of energy, and it's a better energy through eating clean and, kind of, I know it's difficult when you're on the road, but, clean and kind of watching what you eat and watching what you do. Because when you're after a certain age, your body just can't take all that hard, really beating your body. But, a lot of that, like you were saying, that it really, helps you, and I don't think they realize that, but anyway, I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that's actually a great point, because it used to be, when I was younger, I admit I used to be, in order to quickly get in shape for a photo shoot, I could take a bunch of ephedrine and not eat for a few days and be like, okay, I'm fine. And then as you get older, you're like, not only am I risking a heart attack, right? That it's just not working, right? Like this is, and so you hit a certain age, and I think a lot of people are kind of used to that cycle in the entertainment industry. Right. You do what you can, and then suddenly you need to do something in public, and then you just don't eat for that week. The week before the Grammy Awards is miserable. If you on the red carpet of the Grammy Awards, everyone's kind of miserable. I know it's fun for everyone at home, but we're all kind of grouchy. It's a long day. Nobody's eaten for weeks, right? right? You're on your
I
feet,
want
the
to
fit into
tell
an outfit.
everyone you are the first Indian American to appear on the Latin Grammy red carpet, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You mentioned that, so people need to know that. Yes. So yes, people haven't eaten for weeks. I hear you. And so people are not as, they just have these fake smiles, but they're not
It's
really
it is
smiling.
so much work. It's so much work. By the end of the day, you're so tired of fake smiling, and everyone, most people are hungry, and it's a lot of work, right? My publicists
Yes.
are great. They'll fill their purses with protein bars for the day, right? And remind me to eat, right? They're awesome.
Yes.
But
Yes.
right, but other people don't have that privilege, right? So they're
Right.
they're slamming alcohol in the morning, right?
Right.
Like,
Oh
which is
my
not helpful on a
No,
12-hour red carpet day. But yeah, so
exactly.
that formed into the book, all those stories. That book actually did really well. Actually got me a hot sauce endorsement, right? Which
Wow.
and so it was a lot of fun. And then recently during the pandemic,
Mhm.
that's what pivoted into the show. And the show,
Yeah.
unfortunately, is not healthy eating because
Uh-huh.
it had to do viewers. So the premise of that show was chefs around the country
Uh-huh.
would send me ingredients and their signature recipes to see if I could make them at home during lockdown.
Oh, wow. That's
So, I mean, it
interesting.
was really
Yes.
fun. It was really fun. I
Yeah.
did get out of shape doing that show. I had a lot of fun, but because
Yes.
most restaurant signature recipes are not healthy
Not
food
healthy.
anymore,
Yes. Yes.
but they were really good, and it was really fun. And I'm hoping for season 2, I can kind of pivot into the healthy. But I don't know if people actually want to watch the healthy, to be honest with you. So I think I
Right.
think Food Network themselves
It's
goes through that.
yes, because it's just for entertainment. So, I mean, obviously you want to eat healthy most of the time, but the not healthy stuff, it's like entertainment. You want to maybe try it every so often. You need that kind of fun,
Right.
not to eat like that. I always tell people, a lot of that stuff is fun to try and fun to do, but you shouldn't really eat like that all the time as we're talking about it. It's fun to try. So definitely I think people are going to want to tune in and try some of those recipes for, especially with family or for a party or whenever,
Absolutely.
for themselves. It's just a fun thing to do, definitely. So it is fun. People a lot of times, yeah, they don't want to tune in and watch healthy recipes. They want to watch stuff that's fun.
They want to watch something fun. I think the closest thing
That's
we
fun.
have to a healthy recipe that did really well is there's a seafood paella recipe
Oh, that
there where I'm
sounds
making
great.
a diet, and I think that one does really well because people think about family and
Yes.
you can easily serve 20 people with in a paella pan, right?
Yes.
But
Yes. Yeah. Oh, well. So the other thing I guess we wanted to hear, so your publicist started telling me this story about you had a Stevie Wonder moment when you met him, or he appeared in an event you were at or something. I think my audience would love to hear about that, because he's one of
yeah,
my
that was a fun night. It's still so surreal in my head
yes.
because it was a Grammy Awards after party.
Uh-huh.
Common, who was a very popular artist, and it was
Yes.
his after party.
Uh-huh.
So we're just kind of hanging out. It's a very small group, actually,
Right.
at his after party, and he did some performance. So there was a little area where he did get up and perform a few of his songs,
Uh-huh.
his new songs. So there was a little area which I believe there was kind of like a piano in the corner and not, but it's and that's it, right? And so obviously he performs and puts the mics down, walks down, and everyone's just mingling, having a good time.
Yes.
And I think poor Stevie Wonder, I think the hardest part about being Stevie Wonder is every conversation anybody has with him is, oh my God, you're Stevie Wonder, right? Like,
Yes.
right? Like, I don't think he gets to have real conversations because no
Right.
matter who it is, right?
Right.
You're
Yes.
completely starstruck and in awe to
I get
have him immediately in front of you and just
that.
mingling
Yes.
around, right? Like
Yes.
and so you could kind of tell he was getting a little antsy
Uh-huh.
and maybe a little bored.
Uh-huh.
And so he just up and decides out of nowhere, he just does what Stevie Wonder does, I think, when he's bored, is he just walked his way up, picked up the microphone, and started singing and playing just out of nowhere. Like, I think in pure Stevie Wonder fashion, when in doubt in a social
Yes.
situation, this is what I do, right?
Yes.
It was
Yeah.
so natural to him. And it made everybody's night. It was probably everybody's most amazing experience of the year, right? Like he's right there. right?
Yeah. Oh
like,
my
like
gosh.
imagine if you're like at a Christmas party and somebody starts, right? It's that kind of like he's
It's
right
like,
there.
yeah, it's like
And
Stevie
he
Wonder at a
is,
family party where it's not,
yeah,
you're not seeing him in a concert hall, but it's more of
exactly.
an intimate location. So he's like right there.
Really intimate. And
Wow.
he did a full-on impromptu concert performance for all of us, and we all just had a blast. And it was just so amazing.
Oh
And
wow.
just so amazing to see someone like that, because you always wonder, you know, what is somebody who's that popular and that big? Like how, like it was just really cool to see that human side of him as well,
Exactly.
even though it parlayed into
Uh-huh.
big and bold Stevie Wonder. But you could
Exactly.
totally see, you could see it on his face, right? Like he's just like, it'd be not. I'm sure it would have been nice. I'm guessing for him to have a real conversation with somebody, but everyone was just so starstruck. Even though other celebrities are there, it's Stevie Wonder,
Yes, I'm
right?
sure
So
everybody would be starstruck. Oh, that's amazing. So, Anand, what should we look for? I was trying to find out what your next projects are. What should we look for? You said something about season 2, Rockstar Recipes. Will that be?
yeah, starting to plan that now, and I actually don't know at this point if it's going to be Amazon or Roku for season
Oh,
2.
okay. Mm-hmm.
So definitely binge watch season 1 as much as possible. It'll probably take
Yes.
a bit because once you plan, then you gotta figure out the format and have
Yes.
everything in here, right?
And so season 1 is on Amazon. People can watch that
season
on
1 is
Amazon.
on Amazon, and it actually might be on Roku now as well.
Okay.
So that's good. And
Okay.
so definitely season 1 of Rockstar Recipes is really fun. There's some episodes where my parents are visiting and my mother decides to crash the camera. These are everyone's favorites because she is a tiny Indian woman. She's basically like the baby Yoda of that show. So, so she steals those episodes because she is hilarious.
Yes, I
right.
can imagine.
So yeah, you definitely want to catch those episodes.
Yes.
And then just supporting the new album Alive, which is called Alive.
Okay.
And that album is out now. And
Okay.
the best way to catch any of that is Spotify. If you don't have a paid Spotify account, YouTube is actually not a bad place, I've noticed, to because now they organize albums in in full, so you can listen to them all the way through. So it's not bad. I know Spotify sometimes fans that don't have a paid account, it'll play like one song from the album, then kick them onto another album, and then kick them someplace else, right? It almost randomizes it.
Yes.
But still, that's a great place to follow.
Yeah, to find it.
Going on.
Exactly. So Alive and your let's see, first season of Rockstar Recipes on Amazon. I'm sure your book is on Amazon as well. People can find that on Amazon.
Yeah, absolutely. Amazon, Barnes and Noble. I think most people find it on Amazon. I think Apple Books might have it. And there's probably an audiobook version. So.
Oh, yes. And also, I think you have a website, correct? Do you have a website where people can find?
I do. And get this, I have not had to use it in so long, I don't even remember the URL.
That's great. Actually, that's great.
I'm talking about this. I'm like, it's so irrelevant.
Yeah,
right? Because everybody just connects with Spotify, Instagram, or Facebook, or Twitter.
Exactly. People really. I've been beginning to feel that way too about my website. It's like, I'm not sure why I have it now, because it's irrelevant, because everyone just goes, just like you said, Instagram, Twitter. So then people can follow you on Instagram and Twitter, and they just look up your name.
Right. Instagram is the real Anand Bot.
Okay.
There are a couple. There's a dancer in the UK.
Yes.
There's an architect. There's a famous architect from like 20 years ago.
A surgeon too.
There's a doctor. I've seen that guy, and part of me is like, well, because that's the profession I'm sure my parents wanted me to have. And I'm like, I wonder if this guy and I can trade lives for like a month. I'm sure just for a break. I would love to be a doctor.
Make your mom real happy.
Like, let me be a doctor for a couple of weeks. I promise I won't kill anybody. And you go have fun. You go hang out with Vince Neil and tell him he's better.
Probably love to trade places with you for a couple of weeks too. So I can see that. So you're on.
You can get him a long-haired wig. It'll be great.
Definitely. And Twitter, LinkedIn, or Twitter, are you on LinkedIn, Facebook?
Twitter is Anand Bot, just the name.
Okay.
And Facebook is Anand Bot Rock, but you can probably just look it up. And I've been avoiding TikTok absolutely avoiding it until somebody pays me and makes me do it. I've been avoiding it totally. So
I don't
my
blame
apologies to any of your fans that are looking around TikTok.
I don't blame you. Well, that's great. Well, there's certainly loads of places that people can find you. Thanks so much for being here, and hopefully we can look forward to seeing you in the future. Maybe when you get your second season of Rockstar Recipes on, we can have you on again.
Absolutely. And maybe for that season, if we're lucky, you can send in some of your recipes. I would totally love to try those.
I would love to. Definitely. I would love to. Yes, definitely. Yes. And who knows? I'm actually working on doing a show, a TV series for PBS and Comcast. And maybe we can, who knows, do something virtually and have you on.
Great idea.
Yeah.
What a great idea. And I'm assuming your recipes might actually be healthy.
Yes, I try to keep them healthy,
That's
but
right.
you have to, there's that balance. I try to keep them healthy, but interesting enough so people aren't going to be like, oh, that's too
right.
So yes, but yeah, I'd love to share a recipe with you. So just keep me in mind for the second season.
Very cool.
Great. All right. Thank you so much for being here, and hopefully we'll see you in the future.
You bet. Have a great one.
Thanks, you too.
Thanks for listening to the Maria Liberati Show, and thanks to my producer, Britton Roselle, and this week's special guest, Inan Bhatt. And don't forget, look for The Basic Art of Cocktails. That's where tonight's recipe is from, the Mango Passion Cocktail. And of course, you'll be able to find that recipe on my blog, but you can find The Basic Art of Cocktails with more non-alcoholic cocktail recipes at artoflivingprimamedia.com or marialiberati.com on Amazon, Kindle, and anywhere books are sold. And I just want to remind you, my latest book, The Basic Art of Italian Cooking Diary Seasons, was just released, and it's a memoir, but it always includes recipes. All my books always include recipes, so it's a memoir with recipes, and you can find that at, again, anywhere books are sold online, but you can definitely find it on the publisher's website at artoflivingprimamedia.com and marialiberati.com, and you'll be able to find lots of great recipes there for the coming 4th of July holiday. So I wanted to wish everyone a happy 4th of July and lots of delicious food and cooking and recipes. And you can also go on my blog at marialiberati.com, find lots of ideas for recipes for if you're having a barbecue or a cookout, or if you're doing something inside, if you want to create a Tuscan staycation. Wow, there's loads of ideas on my blog. So you can go to marialiberati.com, just go to my blog, and you'll find ideas for your 4th of July celebration. For those of you that celebrate, to my listeners in the United States and actually all around the world. I know lots of people like to celebrate even if they're not in the United States. It's a really nice holiday. And as always, you can find me on marialiberati.com. You can also find me on Instagram at Maria Liberati, on Twitter at Maria Liberati, on Facebook at Chef Maria Liberati, on LinkedIn at M Liberati, on Pinterest at Maria Liberati, on my Roku channel, The Basic Art of Italian Cooking by Maria Liberati, and my Vimeo channel, Maria Liberati. And I wanted to give a special thanks to Gaiman Design Studios in Harleysville, Pennsylvania, for hosting me last week for my video. I did mention this last week, but I just wanted to give them another shout out for hosting me, for allowing me to do my cooking video in their kitchen, in their beautiful kitchen studio, my cooking video. We did some segments for an upcoming TV series I'll be doing, and also some cooking segments from my new book, The Basic Art of Italian Cooking Diary Seasons. Until next time, peace, love, and pasta.